Black belt challenges a janitor to a fun spar. What happened next left everyone stunned. Students gathered around the practice mats, cheering as the martial arts club wrapped up its weekly demonstration. Among the crowd was Ethan Miles, a 22-year-old senior with a black belt in Taekwondo. Known for his flashy kicks and confident swagger, Ethan loved being the center of attention. "All right, folks," he grinned, bowing theatrically, "that's how you end a sparring session." Applause filled the air, but Ethan wasn't done yet. His eyes darted across the gym until they landed on Mr. Daniel Harper, the school's janitor. Daniel was in his late 40s, tall but slightly hunched from years of labor. He wore faded work pants, a plain shirt, and carried a mop bucket. He wasn't particularly noticeable, except for his calm eyes that seemed to observe more than they revealed. "Hey, Mr. Harper," he called, loud enough for the crowd to hear. "How about a little fun spar? You've watched us enough times, maybe you've picked up a move or two." The students laughed, thinking it was a harmless joke. Daniel paused, setting down his mop. He gave Ethan a measured look, then shrugged lightly. "I'm just here to clean the floors, son." But Ethan wasn't letting it go. "Come on, it'll be fun. Nothing serious, just a friendly spar. What do you all think?" The crowd erupted in cheers and chants. "Janitor! Janitor!" Daniel sighed. He didn't enjoy being the center of attention, but he also didn't like to be mocked. Slowly, he set aside his mop and stepped toward the mat. "All right, just a light spar. No injuries." Ethan grinned and bowed mockingly. "Don't worry, Mr. Harper. I'll go easy on you." The crowd chuckled, but Daniel simply returned the bow with practiced grace. Some of the martial arts students noticed it immediately. His bow wasn't awkward. It was precise, respectful, and fluent. "Wait," one whispered. "He's done this before." Ethan lunged forward with a quick roundhouse kick, fast and sharp. The crowd gasped, but Daniel stepped aside effortlessly, letting the kick slice through empty air. Before Ethan could recover, Daniel tapped his shoulder lightly with 2 fingers. "Balance," he said. The students roared with laughter, not at Ethan's skill, but at Daniel's calm correction. Ethan's face flushed. He threw another kick, this one harder, followed by a flurry of punches. Daniel moved with surprising agility, dodging each strike with minimal effort. His footwork was silent, controlled, like a man who had spent decades honing every step. Then, in a flash, Daniel shifted. With a small pivot, he caught Ethan's wrist, redirected his momentum, and gently pushed him onto the mat. Ethan fell, more surprised than hurt. Gasps filled the gym. Ethan scrambled up, his pride stung. You're not just a janitor, are you?" he said, breathing hard. Daniel gave a faint smile. "Once upon a time, I trained, but that was many years ago." The crowd was buzzing with whispers. "Did you see that move? He's trained in Aikido, maybe Judo. Who is this guy?" But Ethan wasn't satisfied. His ego burned. He charged again, faster, using his best spinning back kick. This time, Daniel didn't dodge. He stepped in close, caught Ethan's leg mid-spin, and with a gentle twist, placed him back on the mat, face down, pinned effortlessly. The gym went silent. Daniel released him and stepped back, his breathing calm, his posture relaxed. Ethan sat up, chest heaving, face red. "You humiliated me," Ethan snapped. Daniel shook his head. "No, you humiliated yourself when you challenged someone without respect. Martial arts isn't about showing off. It's about discipline, humility, and control." The students leaned in, captivated. Daniel looked around at the young faces staring at him with awe. "He's mopped these floors for years. I've watched many of you train. Some come to learn, some come to boast. When I was younger, I thought martial arts was about being the strongest. I competed, won medals, and chased glory. But the more I won, the more I lost myself. One day, my arrogance hurt someone badly. That's when I walked away." The gym was silent. Even Ethan, his pride wounded, listened. "I took this job because it was quiet. It gave me peace. But I never stopped practicing, not for strength, but for discipline, for humility." Ethan lowered his head, his fists clenched. He wasn't used to being lectured, especially in front of a crowd, but something in Daniel's calm tone struck him deeper than any punch ever could. "I admit I thought showing off made me respected, but all I did was act like a fool." Daniel placed a hand on his shoulder. "Respect isn't earned by defeating others. It's earned by defeating your ego." The words hit Ethan like a weight. Slowly, he bowed deeply to Daniel, this time with genuine respect. "Thank you, Sensei." The crowd erupted in applause, not for Ethan, but for the janitor who had just taught them all a lesson. From that day forward, things changed. Ethan still trained hard, but his cockiness faded. He started helping newer students instead of mocking them. He often sought Daniel's quiet guidance, asking questions about balance, breathing, and patience. The martial arts club began inviting Daniel to sit in during practices. He never claimed the role of teacher, but his quiet suggestions often corrected mistakes others overlooked. Soon, whispers spread across campus. "The janitor's a master." But Daniel never called himself that. He simply said, "I'm just a man who learned the hard way." The annual University Martial Arts Tournament arrived. Ethan stepped onto the mat, facing a formidable opponent from another school. The crowd cheered, but this time, Ethan didn't grin or show off. He bowed respectfully, remembering Daniel's lesson. The fight was intense, but Ethan's calm focus carried him through. He won, not with flashy kicks, but with precision and discipline. When he received his trophy, he didn't raise it high or boast. Instead, he walked to the sidelines where Daniel stood quietly with his mop. Ethan bowed deeply, then placed the trophy in Daniel's hands. "This belongs to you, for teaching me what martial arts really means." Tears glistened in the eyes of some students. Daniel smiled faintly, setting the trophy aside. "No, it belongs to you, because you finally understand." Word spread beyond the campus. Visitors came hoping to catch a glimpse of the mysterious janitor who had humbled a black belt. Some wanted to challenge him, others to learn from him. Daniel turned them all away. "I don't need students," he said. "Life is the greatest dojo. If you pay attention, it will teach you more than I ever could." But his influence lingered. Ethan graduated, carrying Daniel's wisdom into every part of his life. Many of the martial arts club members went on to teach others, passing down not just techniques, but the humility they learned from a janitor who was more than he appeared. And late at night, long after the gym was empty, Daniel would mop the floors in silence. Then, in the stillness, he would practice slow, deliberate movements, each one a prayer of discipline, not for glory, not for fame, but for the quiet mastery of himself. Years later, alumni would tell the story, how a black belt challenged a janitor to a spar and learned a lesson he'd never forget. Some laughed, some shook their heads in disbelief, but those who had been there remembered the truth. It wasn't just a spar. It was a moment that revealed the heart of martial arts, discipline, humility, and respect. And it all began with a mop, a challenge, and a man who chose peace over pride.